Hey Raiders fans, we're back, and it feels like one of those weeks where everything's on the line for our Las Vegas Raiders. After that win over the Tennessee Titans, things are finally starting to look a little more interesting. I know what you're thinking. The Titans' loss was so bad they had to fire their head coach. And yeah, that's true, but now the focus shifts to something way bigger. This week, it's all about Arrowhead, it's all about Kansas City, and it's all about a shot to completely flip this season around. Sitting at 2 wins and 4 losses doesn't sound pretty, but a victory in Arrowhead would change everything. That one would not only move the Raiders to 3 wins and 4 losses, but it would also hand Kansas City another L, putting them right there at 3-4 as well. That's how fast a season can change in the NFL, and that's exactly the kind of opportunity the Raiders have right now. The main storyline everyone's talking about heading into this matchup is Geno Smith. Let's be honest, this is the biggest game of his Raiders career, no question about it. And honestly, it might even be one of the most important games of Pete Carroll's coaching career too. It's not just another regular matchup. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending AFC West champions, the standard everyone's trying to match. Raider Nation knows exactly what this game means. The conversations have been nonstop. Can Geno beat Mahomes? Can Geno win in Arrowhead? Everyone remembers the names and the moments. Derek Carr taking down the Chiefs back in October 2020, that Christmas Day shocker in 2023. Now it's Geno's turn to prove he belongs. What makes this game so big is that it's more than just a win or loss on the record. It's a confidence game. If Geno Smith can walk into Arrowhead and pull off a win, he'll silence a lot of the critics who still aren't fully convinced he's the guy for this team. It would buy him trust, it would earn him respect, and most importantly, it would build momentum heading into the bye week. The Raiders haven't won back-to-back games since December 2023. Think about that. Beating Kansas City on their own field would change the entire energy inside that locker room. Geno hasn't been sharp the last 6 weeks, but all it takes is one big win to flip the narrative. That's football. You have one good game, and people start to believe again. Watching Geno lately, you can tell he's still trying to get his confidence back. The body language, the hesitation, it's there. But if he can manage the game, avoid turnovers, and just play smart football, this team has the weapons and the defense to get it done. We've seen it before. You don't need your quarterback to play hero ball to beat Kansas City. You need efficiency, discipline, and grit. That's how you beat the Chiefs in their house. Now let's talk about that Raiders defense, because they're going to have their hands full. Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, that trio has been terrorizing defenses for years. And you already know how it goes when Kansas City plays under the bright lights. Cameras cutting to Taylor Swift every few plays, the crowd roaring, the pressure cranked to the max. But this Raiders defense has quietly been solid this season. Sure, there were a couple of rough games, especially against the Commanders and the Colts, but overall, this unit has been holding its own. They've been strong against the run, disciplined in coverage, and they've shown flashes of real dominance. If the Raiders are going to win this game, it's going to look a lot like that Christmas Day matchup. That victory didn't come from offensive fireworks. It came from defense. It came from getting after Mahomes, from taking the ball away, from forcing him into uncomfortable throws. The key once again will be winning that turnover battle. Mahomes has 11 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions this year, which shows just how careful and sharp he's been. But if there's any team that can rattle him, it's this Raiders front. Max Crosby has to be a monster out there. He's the tone setter, and it's going to take the entire line. Thomas Booker, Lecky Fotu, Tyree Wilson, Malcolm Kuntz, all of them working in sync to pressure Mahomes without drawing roughing the passer penalties. Because let's be honest, when you're playing an Arrowhead, you're not just playing the Chiefs, you're playing the refs too. Everyone knows it. The Chiefs somehow manage to get through primetime games with 0 penalties, and yet their opponents get flagged for breathing too hard near Mahomes. So discipline is everything. If the Raiders can play clean, physical football, they can make this a real fight. And there's something about facing Kansas City that magnifies everything. Every play, every drive, every mistake, it all matters more. It's the measuring stick. Beating the Chiefs is never just another win. It's a statement. And because this is the final week before the bye, that statement becomes even more powerful. A win here would give the team confidence and extra rest to regroup before the second half of the season. The defense has to set the tone. The offense has to protect the football. And Geno Smith has to show leadership, poise, and the ability to rise under pressure. The Raiders have been in this position before, with everything on the line, just one game away from flipping the script. The difference this time has to be execution. The last time they were in a must-win situation, they dropped a stinker against the Colts. That can't happen again. This week, it's different. This week, it's about proving that the Raiders belong in this division fight. It's about showing that this team isn't folding, that they can still make noise in the AFC. And above all, it's about pride. Because when it's Chiefs week, it's not just another game. It's a chance to remind the entire league that Raider Nation still stands tall. As the countdown to kickoff gets closer, there are still plenty of storylines swirling around this matchup. One of the biggest revolves around the Chiefs' offense and how the Raiders plan to contain it, especially with Rashee Rice making his return. Rice has been suspended for 6 games and is now cleared to play again, which means he'll be stepping into Arrowhead with a ton of motivation and energy. You can almost guarantee Kansas City will make him a big part of their game plan. The Raiders' secondary has to be ready for that, because Rice is dangerous in those short and intermediate routes. He thrives in that space just behind the linebackers, turning quick passes into big gains, and that's exactly where Las Vegas has struggled at times this season. If you're the Raiders, you have to be strategic about matchups. Expect Eric Stokes to be the primary defender on Rice, but it can't just be a one-on-one battle. The defense needs to take away the middle of the field entirely. That's where Mahomes loves to operate, using those quick throws to move the chains and wear down defenses. You can't let him dink and dunk his way down the field because he'll happily take 4 or 5 yards at a time until you're out of breath and out of hope. The key will be closing off those passing lanes and forcing Mahomes to push the ball deep, where the Raiders can use their pass rush to their advantage. There's also been talk about a possible suspension for Juju Smith-Schuster after that scuffle in the last game. If that happens, the Chiefs will lean even more on Rice, which could actually help the Raiders' defense simplify their game plan. Fewer options for Mahomes means more chances to focus pressure where it matters most. Still, this Kansas City offense is built to adjust on the fly, and Andy Reid is too experienced to be caught off guard by a missing receiver. So, the Raiders' defense has to stay sharp and disciplined through all 4 quarters. Now, let's switch sides for a moment because there's another huge storyline for Las Vegas: the health of Brock Bowers. The rookie tight end has been battling a knee injury, and while there's hope he could be ready soon, it looks like he'll probably miss this game. That's a blow, no doubt, because Bowers brings a unique dynamic to the offense that few players can replicate. But the silver lining here is that Michael Mayer has stepped up in a big way. His performance against the Titans was exactly what the Raiders needed: 5 catches, 50 yards, and a touchdown. He looked confident, reliable, and ready for a bigger role. The chemistry between Mayer and Geno Smith is starting to show, and if they can build on that connection, it could be the difference maker in this game. What's encouraging about Mayer is not just his production, but his versatility. He's physical enough to block in the running game and athletic enough to create mismatches in the red zone. That's something the Raiders can exploit against Kansas City, especially if they commit to a more physical brand of football. You're not going to beat the Chiefs by trying to outgun them in a shootout. You beat them by grinding them down, running the ball effectively, controlling the clock, and letting your defense rest between drives. That's the formula that worked on Christmas Day last year, and it can work again now. Even without Bowers, the Raiders have enough weapons to keep the Chiefs on their heels. Jacoby Myers has been steady, Devontae Adams remains a force, and the running backs have shown flashes of explosiveness when given the right opportunities. The offensive line just has to hold up long enough for Geno to make quick, smart decisions. Protecting the football is priority number 1. If Geno can stay calm under pressure, use the short game, and avoid forcing passes into tight coverage, the Raiders can control the pace of this game. One thing this team can't afford to do is start slow. Arrowhead is one of the loudest stadiums in football, and once that crowd gets going, it can throw off even the best quarterbacks. The Raiders need to strike early build confidence, and take the energy out of the building. A first-quarter touchdown or a big defensive stop could completely change the atmosphere. Another intriguing development is the cornerback situation. There's growing speculation that the Raiders could bench Kai Blue Kelly in favor of rookie Darian Porter. It's a move that makes a lot of sense. Kelly has struggled badly this season, giving up big plays week after week and allowing more receiving yards than almost any other defensive back in the league. Porter, on the other hand, has made the most of his limited snaps. In just under 100 defensive plays, he's been targeted 4 times, allowed only 2 catches for 19 yards, and hasn't given up a single touchdown. The numbers don't lie. He deserves a shot. If the Raiders are serious about competing and building for the future, they need to let the young players prove themselves. Porter brings energy, speed, and an aggressive mindset that could make a difference against Kansas City's quick passing game. It's not about rebuilding. It's about putting the best players on the field. Kelly's confidence looks shaken, and sometimes the best move is to let a young guy step in and show what he's got. Pete Carroll mentioned after the Titans game that Kelly is still developing, but it's time to hold everyone accountable. The message needs to be clear. Every position is earned. Nothing is guaranteed. The secondary can't afford to be a weak link in this matchup, not with Mahomes on the other side. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Las Vegas Raiders. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a shocking turn of events that has sent shockwaves through the NFL, Raiders star Max Crosby has reportedly been suspended for 2 years due to a doping violation. The news, which first leaked late last night, has left fans, teammates, and the organization itself scrambling for answers. Crosby, widely regarded as one of the league's premier defensive talents, had become a cornerstone of the Raiders' defense, known for his relentless pass-rushing ability and leadership on and off the field. Insiders suggest that the suspension stems from a failed drug test earlier this season, although the full details of the substance involved have yet to be confirmed. While the NFL's official statement is expected soon, sources close to the situation hint at the possibility that this could lead to broader investigations within the Raiders training program. The team, according to anonymous insiders, is reportedly in total disbelief, emphasizing that Crosby has always maintained a reputation for professionalism and dedication. The timing could not be worse for Las Vegas. With the Raiders in the thick of playoff contention and relying heavily on Crosby's presence to anchor their defensive line, losing him for 2 full seasons could drastically alter the team's trajectory. Rumors are swirling that the locker room is divided between anger and disbelief, with some teammates questioning how such a situation could have arisen while others remain steadfast in their support for Crosby, hoping for a reversal or appeal. Sports commentators are already speculating on the ripple effects across the league. Could this open the door for rival teams to exploit the Raiders' weakened defense? Might this spark an even wider crackdown on performance-enhancing drugs in the NFL? Social media is ablaze with reactions ranging from outrage to sympathy, and betting lines on Raiders games have reportedly shifted in response to the news. Even as the league prepares its official announcement, one thing is clear. The suspension of Max Crosby is more than just a headline. It's a seismic event in professional football. The Raiders face an uncertain future, and the fan base is left grappling with a mix of disbelief, anger, and hope that their star player can somehow fight this ruling. For now, the NFL world watches closely as whispers in the locker room become headlines that could define the rest of Crosby's career. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Las Vegas Raiders, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.